Good morning, students, and good morning, my dear student mentors. Today is very exciting because we're actually going to cover a step that is very little known of. Demonstrate interest to colleges. When we talk about demonstrating interest to colleges, there's a very fine difference between a genuine interest and just unnecessarily ragging or harassing them. We've obviously got to be careful. Today, I have with me 4 student mentors who are studying in top colleges. Everyone weaves to get into one of those colleges, who are going to be presenting with me. But more critical than the presentation is the fact that we're going to take this really personal. At the end of the presentation, we're going to be pulling up the forms that you all have filled up, and we're going to have a conversation with you, tell you what we think is a priority, what you could do, and what maybe is a possibility for you to show your demonstrated interest to college. Do remember, we at Accept You and Admission Specialist also offer you customized packages, which means you don't have to sign up for a whole package with us on essays and applications and letters of recommendation. Of course, if you want to, you can. But if you're already signed up or you feel your school counselor is doing a terrific job, that's wonderful. But that doesn't stop you from doing a customized package on demonstrated interest with us. Since we have a little time, I would request you all to wait and allow the other few students to join in. I'm going to mute myself till then, and we will start probably within 4 minutes. Thank you. Tanav, will you let me know? Should we start?
We still have 3 minutes, ma'am.
But I'm very happy to see all the children have logged on so quickly. That means so much to me, kids. I love it when you appreciate the time of my student mentors. I mean, they're in US, in UK, in India. They've all taken out time for this. One of the boys was actually on a train. He's actually going to be sitting at a Starbucks to do this call. So yeah, that's the kind of value that they bring in. So we'll give them a minute more. Ninad, I think I would like to start, if that's fine with you. I'll start with my introduction.
Perfect.
Perfect. So again, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We have 4 student mentors and me who are going to talk a little about demonstrating interest to colleges. When we talk about getting into colleges, getting into applying to colleges, a very small or a lesser known fact is the need to demonstrate your interest. When we talk about demonstrating interest, we're talking about genuine interest. If you think you can start harassing them, that's a guaranteed red flag of not getting in. But a lot of you children have a passion project, you have a dream initiative, you're doing something which is wonderful, which is worth talking about, then we're hoping that you will be able to demonstrate that specific interest to college. So today we're going to talk about ways and means to demonstrate interest. Then after that, all of my students will share what they think is demonstrating interest and how they've used it in their life so far. And then the best part, we're actually going to customize this workshop for each one of you. Your forms that you've filled have been analyzed by one of us, one of the student mentors or me. We're going to ask you questions and probably tell you what is the best way you can do something to demonstrate your interest. So do stick on, because the last part is definitely the most exciting and the most fun. As we start our presentation, kids, I'd love if you all could mute yourselves, but feel free to switch on your videos. It's so much more interactive. And if you have any questions, put it on the chat or raise your hands, and we'll try and do those at the end. My name is Priyanka Bhartiya. I've been a journalist by profession. I've done my master's in journalism. I'm the managing director operations for a company called Acceptu. Acceptu is the world's leading virtual counseling company. And what makes us so special is the fact that every single counselor of ours has been in the admissions team for over a decade. We have worked year on year with about 60 to 80 students, and all our children have done phenomenally well. I'd like to say each one of them get into one of their top 3 choices. And you'll see that today as my children present. So Nisha, you're actually not muted. Please mute yourself. Okay, let's start. One-stop solution to ensure colleges know you before you apply. Let's move, Ninad. Okay, how do you start? Campus visits. Obviously, everyone knows it. What do you do if you are visiting a campus? You have to schedule an official campus tour. There are 2 types. One's a regular information session. The other one is specific to the college you might be wanting to attend. There are engineering tours, there are business tours, there are policy tours, there are humanity tours. You get an opportunity to write to your admissions officer who helps you. Name of the admission officer, you can find out through the website. You can ask your school counselor, or if you have a counseling team like ours, we can help you find them. Reach out to them, ask them if you can come and meet them for 10 minutes. Attend a class or lecture. Whoever is not muted, please mute yourself. Ninad, will you take care, please? Attend a class or lecture if the college allows it. Almost 60% of the colleges do allow you. So I'd recommend please try and attend one. It may not be the exact subject you're studying. That's fine. Still attend it to understand what is a teacher, what is a faculty, how do the students interact. Believe me, it's very, very different from India. I've attended classes at Harvard, UC San Diego, and UCLA, and Georgia Tech, actually. And I have to tell you, even those were so different. Sorry, even Chicago. Talk to current students. This is super, super important. You must ask them. Nainika is one of those kids who will tell you this. One of my children who wrote an essay for John Hopkins, she turned around and said, you can make out the child hasn't done any homework on John Hopkins. And after speaking with Nainika a couple of times, her essay completely changed and she did get into John Hopkins. So, just as an example, I'm giving that idea to you. It's very important. Interview with an alumni representative. So generally, when you apply, you will be given an opportunity to meet an alumni, but a lot of times, if you know an alumni, do an informal interview with them. Reach out, talk to them. It'll only add value to you. Participate in, Arav, you need to mute yourself. Participate in overnight stay programs. Yes, it is allowed. You can stay overnight, especially if you know someone there, then you can go and stay with them, bunk in with them. Okay, attend college fairs and events. We will talk about this in more details. Follow up after your visit. There's a whole technique. You have to write a customized thank you letter. It can't be too long. It can't be too short. You have to be able to do what they might have discussed or talked about with you. The red line is what we at Acceptu like to do in our customized package. We help you customize your visit. We help you plan it. We help you to know what questions to ask to reflect your interest. Next, please, Ninad. Attend events. Now, everyone can't do a campus visit, and that is fine. Please don't beat your parents over it. There are enough events that happen in our country. We're really lucky. Yeah, there's always something happening in our cities. Find out, get to know. How do you get to know? Please go on the college, go on to their mailers and subscribe for it. Go on to their social media and subscribe at it. Okay, follow them. Okay. When they come to your school or you're attending an event, there are a lot of general questions you can ask. And I have put a list of the general questions, which are pretty decent questions. Okay. How has your experience been? What do you believe are your core values? In your opinion, what quality or characteristics are required? What steps does the college or the university take to foster community? How does the college support personal and emotional well-being? A very important question post-pandemic. But these are general questions. What I really get excited about is the next page, which we really help our children try and frame and make. And I know Rohan, next page, please, Ninat. I know Rohan will be able to talk about how we tried him to do specific questions to NYU, for example. This is true questions, children. Okay, and this is incredible. One child straight says, I've suffered from bulimia in the past and founded an initiative to create awareness among students for the same. I want to be able to run student-run clubs like this in college. Is that possibility? Or if there is one, can I know of them and meet them? Of course, I will not give more details, but the college reached out, had a call with the student, connected them, and she got into that college, and she's now running a bulimia club, an anti-bulimia club there. I've been working very closely with setting up solar power units in rural India. Want to continue the process, but I want college students to become a part of it. How can I take this forward? Wrote to maybe 7 or 8 colleges, 2 of them replied. They spoke about what their faculty is doing, connected the faculty, and he actually managed to improve his solar power unit by working under one of the faculties. Okay. Again, got into one of the top colleges. I have been developing a prototype sorry, my bad, that's a careless mistake, for an energy power mobile phone, but the product is not yet ready. I'd like to reach out to specific professor or specific alumni for their inputs, as they've been working very closely in the same direction. Is it possible, and how? Again, Roj reached out to probably 15 people in 4 or 6 colleges, got a reply through his LinkedIn on 2 people. He's working with one of them now to better his product and the areas he was stuck. And one of the colleges reached out to him. He was going to do a summer program. So they're going to try and work out one of the areas of a special research for him. Okay, we help you make and frame such questions. Children, you've seen the generic questions. Now you've seen the specific questions. You know the difference. Don't do generic questions. Everyone will do generic questions. Try and do a specific question that shows your genuine interest. Don't make up things. Admissions officers smell a rat immediately. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, please. Okay, a cover letter. Let's assume you're not being able to meet them either at their campus or at your campus. You can always reach out to them via mail. What do you do in a cover letter? First, when do you write a cover letter? You don't write a cover letter, hey, I'm applying. Okay, you better get to know me. You write a cover letter when you genuinely have a question which is directly related to your passion project. Remember, in your application, there are 2 questions you need to answer, only 2. What do you bring to the college? What does the college bring to you? If you know the answers to these questions, all your essays, all your supplemental essays will be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay. What do you do with a cover letter? You introduce yourself, you talk of your passion project. What do you require from the college? What are your questions? Who do you want to talk to? Why do you need help? What have your failures been? What is your the lessons you're struggling with? Then attach that particular details of the product, attach your resume, and then send it. Like I said, we have several such samples and it's got a lot of success. I think some of my kids here have written such letters and they may want to talk about it. Let's move on, Ninad. Virtual engagement, of course, everything is at your beck and call. You have virtual college fairs. You have webinars, information sessions. Every single college offers this. Okay, find out. Participate by asking authentic questions. Don't be annoying. Don't keep asking dumb questions which are available on the website. And believe me, I always say this. If I can find out the answer by spending 30 minutes on the website, that's a dumb question. Sorry for being so blunt, but it's the truth. Join online forums. There's so much available on social media. Forget posting your pictures. Follow colleges. See what they are doing. it'll be probably adding a lot more value to you. LinkedIn is a whole story separately. It's really adding value to you children. Please, if you don't know how to start LinkedIn, reach out to us. We help you do a customized package for that as well. And of course, we help you connect. I'm thinking now we're on the last page. Oh, in-depth research, of course. Conduct an in-depth research on the college. Every little thing you should know. What are the programs? What are the research? What are the college faculties you'd want to work with? What are the papers they've written? What are the books they've written? Who have they connected with? Where do they start from? How have they built their career? Incorporate that knowledge into your essays, your interviews, your cover letter. Also, part of an in-depth research I'd like to say is consider doing summer programs, online courses. Really adds value to knowing if that's the right fit. Again, our team of counselors will make sure that you have all of this and your application has no red flags. Probably the only reason why all our kids get into one of their dream colleges. And with that, I think we're done. Children, take a picture of that. Of course, Ninad, maybe you can write it down on the chat to everyone as well, because we're soon going to shut this. I will now like my student mentors to start presenting. I'm going to ask each one of them to introduce themselves. Rohan, Sumeet, and Nainika, Tanav, if you all can keep your videos on now. We'll start with Nainika. Nainika, go ahead, introduce yourself, talk a little about who you are, what you do, and what you feel about demonstrated interest.
Hi, everyone.
You can shut the presentation so we can see everyone now. Sorry about that, Nainika. Yes.
It's okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Nainika, and I recently just graduated from Johns Hopkins University with a Master's and Bachelor of Science in Molecular and Cellular Biology, and also Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. As of now, I will be going back to the States and I will be working a job there. I'll be conducting research in an Alzheimer's lab, which is super exciting. And in terms of demonstrated interest, I think at least the way I approached it was, I know a lot of people tend to do it just because they want to seem like they're really interested in the college and they want to increase their chances of getting in. But I kind of used it as an opportunity for me to understand what the college can give to me. And I use demonstrated interest to not just let them know about me, but also give them a chance to kind of sell the college to me and determine whether it was the right fit for me. It also really helped to like just speak to alumni and kind of gauge what actual student life is like.
Perfect. Nainika, do you want to talk about the letter you wrote? Do you want to talk about the dance you shared and things like that a little bit, although you were applying for a pre-med psychology program?
Yeah, so at my time, there were literally no virtual events because COVID didn't happen and I didn't get to visit any of the campuses in person. However, I was lucky enough to meet the admissions rep because they used to come and visit my high school. So anytime they were there, I made sure that I cleared my schedule to kind of meet with them. After our first meeting, anytime she had any consecutive visits, I emailed her beforehand, letting her know that I will be there. And when she did come, I always had kind of like a list of questions prepared. And as Priyanka auntie said, that I used to go ahead with specific questions rather than general questions. And I know like the examples that were given were like projects and this and that, and not everybody has projects. I never had such a big project when I applied. But specific questions can be something as simple as showing something about your personality. So when I used to talk about myself, I used to be like, oh, I thrive in a collaborative environment. I love working in a team. What are the collaborative like opportunities present at Hopkins? And I think something like that is also very helpful when asking questions. I always made sure I followed up after every visit, and I also emailed them with questions. I never badgered them. I never asked them 10 questions in one email or like email them every week with a different question. I think it's very smart to kind of space it out. That way they also remember you, but also they don't think you're very irritating. I did email them about my interests that I think didn't showcase super well in my application. I've been dancing since I was a child. And I did mention that in my application, but I never really did anything with the dance. But towards the end, after I did submitted my application, I uploaded my first dance YouTube video, and I thought that would really add a lot of value to my application. So I sent in an email to the admissions office highlighting what I've done with the dance I've done since I was a child.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nainika. I'd like to move on to Rohan. Do you want to take on, introduce yourself and talk about what you feel about demonstrated interest, pre-college, in college, anytime?
So, hi everyone, I'm Rohan. I'm from Hyderabad and I'm in Northeastern University right now. I'm currently a sophomore majoring in business administration, entrepreneurship, marketing, and healthcare services and consulting. And I'm minoring in computer science right now. So, in terms of my college application process, in terms of demonstrated interest, I was actually working on my own projects. So, something related towards my interest in entrepreneurship. I was working on creating startups, or I had so many ideas which I wanted to take forward. So what I would generally do when I was applying for college was I would write emails to business professors or the deans of the colleges, or if it's like clubs, venture hubs, whoever it may be, reach out to them and figure out if send them information about me, information about what I do, what I want to do. And so slowly they could also get to know about me, which actually does help you later on in your process, which I have realized once coming into college. Before applying to college, I, as many other people may be still thinking, how much would this really matter? You know, hundred thousands of people sending them information about themselves. Will they really keep it in track? But it's not like that. They will definitely remember you. They will definitely consider you for clubs or any activities that you're going into. They will see that, you know, you have been interested in this for a while. So one of my friends was actually working for the admissions department over here. I have one in this college. I have one in NYU as well. And they were telling me about how there are so many factors which go into this college application. It may not just be our grades or extracurriculars, but they also want to see how if we really are interested, that we're not just applying for the sake of the name. You know, just because I'm going to NYU, I'm going to U Chicago, Harvard, whatever it may be. They want to see why you're going to this college or why you really want to
Very
go to this
true.
college. And so during my application, I just put in my passion. I pushed my passion towards the professors or whoever it may be. And I've done this for about 20 colleges and I've heard back only from two or three, but that's still a great thing, honestly. So I've heard back from one of the deans of one college who was helping me and my friend with our project. And we've actually taken his help and worked on it more and more to the prototyping stage before college. And that may have not helped me towards getting into that college. I did not get into that college, but his letter of recommendation definitely did help me get into other colleges, in my opinion. And it is really important to focus on the research you do before applying to colleges rather than just writing the essays or just researching about yourself. That is one important factor, knowing yourself before applying to college, but knowing the college is also equally important. And that's what I feel from my college application process or during my college time.
Love it, Rohan. He's actually brought out a point very interested when we talk about very, very critical for demonstrated interest. It may not help with that one college, but it will help somewhere. So everyone shouldn't think that, oh, now let's just badger Stanford and Harvard. We'll get it. It may not happen like that, right? You have to find your best fit, find a realistic fit. I'd like Sumeet now to take over. Sumeet, do you want to introduce yourself and talk a little about your take on demonstrated interest as well? And I know you recently shared with me about, the MIT thing. So continue talking about that as well, that, how demonstrated interest might play a role even now.
Sure. So I'm Sumit. I study computer science and data science at Berkeley. On the side, I do research and part of the university boxing team here. I mean, that does count as demonstrated interest, right? Just simply doing research and doing boxing and having continued that through college. I mean, I made that commitment to Berkeley, saying in my application that this is what I do, this is what I am, and that is what I've continued to do. And they like seeing that in students. I think so. From my personal experience, I studied in Mumbai, and before COVID, we used to have a lot of these info sessions where you could meet admissions representatives. Now, my opinion is that any amount of meeting an MIT, Stanford, Berkeley representative is going to lead to nothing. Uh, we had an MIT representative come to our school, and he said, "Oh, I just know you'll butter me up and try to just be very smart," and it doesn't work. Uh, what does work is though, there's a lot of universities where demonstrated interest does count. So I met a representative from Warwick. He invited me to this Warwick send-off party, and I just got to know him very well, like on a phone call basis. Um, and I'm sure you can do that for a lot of colleges too. So I think be very realistic about what colleges you pick and how you target them. For Stanford, MIT, schools like that, you don't want to target an individual person. You'd rather target either a lab. So you reach out to a professor, you try working under them. The professor is going to make no um, changes to what your admission to your admission status, but that is going to say to MIT that, oh, if this guy comes, if this girl comes, she's going to continue working here, and this is going to be a good fit for the university. And another thing is essays. I think essays are very important, and different colleges do like different kinds of essays. From I think, except you helped me a lot with this very particular aspect. I think Jamie was from Berkeley, and we had someone from Columbia. And they were just really tiny tips and really tiny, like 2 or 3 sentences that can just flip how your essay looks for a college and how they see you as a fit there. So I think, like, Priyanka, I'm sure you can talk more about that. But yeah, like, stop individual people for big colleges, I would say. Reach out to professors, just be a good fit for them, and like get to know the college well, and that's interest enough.
Sumeet very well pointed out. One more fact here is Sumeet also applied to UK and Canada, got into U Toronto full scholarship, got into Imperial, Warwick, and many other colleges in UK, if I remember correctly, Sumeet. And demonstrated interest. A lot of people turn around and tell me, oh, UK doesn't look at it. You will be surprised how much UK and Canada are looking at it, kids. Don't back off hearing people. Don't do things on a hearsay. Do your research, ask your school counselors, ask people like us, reach out, find out. Okay, you can even ask the admissions officer in a college, what is, I want to know a little more about this. Is it possible? Okay, as one thing you're clearly hearing is reach out to 12, maybe one will reply. Okay, now we're going to bring Tanav, who has a completely different take, and he had a different way of demonstrating his interest. Tanav, would you like to introduce yourself as well as talk about this?
Yeah, so yes, I'm Tanav. I just completed my first year at Harvard. I'm planning on majoring like in pure math. And yeah, so like now talking about demonstrated interest. So like first, like it's important to understand like why demonstrated interest matters in the first place. So now primarily like colleges want to take students who they think will like excel in a particular field or like perform well in a particular field. And at like initially it doesn't seem like demonstrated interest is like particularly related to that, because one might think that okay, like everyone wants to get into Stanford, so sending the admissions officer an email that okay, I want to go to Stanford is not going to make like a difference. Yeah, but if you think about it, like although that is one of the priorities of colleges, they also want to ensure that they have a high yield rate, because and that's where demonstrated interest comes into play, because not only do they want to take like high performing students, they want to take high performing students who they believe would are likely to continue at the university and who like are likely to be a good fit for the university. So like in that respect, that's what like your goal should be, to like convince the college that like about like that you have done your research and you feel like that you're going to be like a good fit for them basically. And
Perfect. So Tanav, why don't you talk a little about the pre-collegiate course of Stanford that you had done?
okay, yeah. So like when I was in 9th grade, I had done like a course like from like Stanford online, like the Stanford online school. So like, yeah, so that was basically an online course which was like offered directly from like Stanford online. And I think that like again, I'm not sure how much like again, I'm not like it's not very likely that the instructor of the course is directly like connected with like improving your chances at admission, as like Sumeet also said. So like, I mean, but like it's still like doing such a course still has advantages in that like it improves your like firstly it like improves your knowledge in the subject, which is like the most important thing, and it enables you to like demonstrate interest, not only that okay, I want to study at this college, but I want to study like XYZ field, and I think studying
True.
this field at this college is going to like enable me to grow in some way or something like that. So
Absolutely correct.
yeah,
I mean, demonstrate interest is not, jumping out from a tree like a monkey. It is, I am capable. I want to do math and I'm capable. Tanav did very well in programs which were pre-collegiate, and he got into the collegiate program, got an A in both. It demonstrated interest. Yes, he got into Stanford, but not because of that. But he did get into other colleges because they realized he's capable of doing a program. Of course, Tanav's a genius. He's done every math competition, won everything. So just thought it's important you know. Sumeet, you can talk. You can just unmute yourself and say what you're writing here. No worries at all.
I think this text should be enough. Like, this is good enough to be.
We didn't read it. You want to say it? Okay, Sumeet's got a very bad connection. So I think he's written something here on the chat that I'll add to that. The representatives in the UK and Canada are very open to meeting you. He's right. And when it comes to scholarship applications, they want to know you better. They want to be in touch. And they actually do give essay tips. He's very, very correct about this. And I totally agree with you, Sumeet. And so few people realize that. And various other countries, actually, Singapore, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Europe, they're so much more open. So, that's something we've all covered a little on demonstrated interest. Let's now move to the more exciting part. Let's take forms. Let's have a little discussion. We're going to do it publicly because every student should be able to learn from it. Please realize that we can only do about 15 odd forms. Hopefully you're selected, but even if you're not selected, reach out to Ninad, reach out to the number that Ninad will put on the group, and we will do something for you. Like I've already said, we have customized package. Ask us what you need and we will offer only that. We don't care. Okay. Ninad will also send you a message later about what do you do to sign up with a demonstrated interest package for us. So Ninad, do you want us to sign off? Like you tell us who we can start with?
Yes, ma'am, certainly. So the first form I would suggest is Vidhi Mediratta, and you have to do the
Super.
analysis, ma'am.
Perfect. Vidhi, are you here? Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah, hi.
Awesome. Hi, Vidhi. Thank you so much for filling in so much details. Obviously, because you've filled in so much details, I can give you that much details. Remember, that's exactly what application is. What you say is what I understand. So in my mind, if I were your admissions officer, I have made an image of you, and it's very interesting because you've given me so much details. Now, your top choices are John Hopkins, Nainika, just so you know, Northwestern, Stanford, NYU, Yale, UCLA. You're looking at psychology, biopsychology, neurosciences, and an interest in English and sociology. Fabulous. This is the first place of demonstrating an interest. If you were writing a cover letter and I see this, I know this is really exciting. I want to major in biopsychology, neuroscience, but I have a keen interest in English and sociology. And then demonstrate it. If you turn around and tell me how. So there's some interesting things you've written. You've literally worked with ADHD, ADD, autism, child development center, occupational therapy. If you write that in 2-3 lines and say that, this is something I have been doing. I now am in the process of establishing a psychology club and would love to be able to meet Professor da da da, or someone in the club da da da, to be able to understand what are the 5 key steps that I should be following, or if any of them could be a guest lecturer in my psychology club, something like that. Then if you show me your interest in English or in sociology, which you haven't written about here, but I'm assuming your whole journey with community service is so high that in some ways policy, sociology is a part of you. Vidhi, have you ever written for a magazine or a school paper? Have you ever participated in any kind of a writing program?
Yeah, so I am a part of my school's newsletter club and I write for like the literature column. So I write poems and fiction work, but
Beautiful.
mostly relating to stories and poems and stuff. I've been featured over there and I've also written other than that for school competitions. So yeah.
Now, if you notice, Vidhi, this hasn't come out in what the questions you wrote to me. So immediately in my demonstrated interest, my first few questions would be that to you. Show it. Don't tell me you want to do minor in English. Show it to me. So in your cover letter, you can also say that I have been writing poems, in my editorial column where I love covering this specific genre. It would be lovely if I could invite one of your speakers or one of your professors. I have read her research work or his research work. I've read their poem or their book. If they could come and give a talk, or if I could do an interview to publish in my newspaper. Do you realize? Demonstrated interest.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Vidhi, you sent me your LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn is, it may as well not be there. There's nothing on it. I encourage you to make your LinkedIn. Please remake your LinkedIn. It's a beautiful way to show what you've done. It's a beautiful way to reach out to people with what you want to do. Okay, a work shadow, an internship, a possible chance of a research. Everything is available with the research. I'd love you to consider a possible sign up with Accept You for demonstrated interest. I will send you the details because you have the ability. It would be very exciting to see what we can do with you. So that's a little from me to you, Vidhi. And we'll move on to Ninad, any other child who can do any other.
Yes, ma'am. Nainika, would you like to do the analysis for Riva Lalani? Riva, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome.
Sorry, I was just looking at my notes I made based on your film.
100%. Keep it open, Nainika. Feel free to ask questions because like I asked Vidhi, I got an answer which I needed. So feel free.
Yeah, I think, okay, I'm just going through your activities again. And oh my God, you've done so much more than what I did when I applied to Hopkins. And that's amazing. I think, especially because you want to study biology and neuroscience, your internship at the neuroclinic that you did, which is shadowing a doctor, I think that's something you should definitely highlight when you're writing your cover letter or even just applying. It's very hard to get like a internship in terms of clinical setting, especially in the neuroscience setting. So the fact that you already got that is really like amazing, and you should highlight that. I think when it comes to demonstrated interest, to ask a specific question, the teaching children that you do, where you initiated a project to familiarize children of government schools with important transfer skills, I think that's something you can talk about and say how you can continue pursuing that, or to what extent can you do something like that at the college too. I can speak specifically for Hopkins for a couple of it, but there's like an office called the Center for Social Concern. So when you reach out to the admissions office and tell them this is something you're interested in, how can you continue pursuing it in college, they can connect you to different offices, and maybe you can even engage in different opportunities just as a high schooler, even before you get into the college, which would be really, really exciting. And like, to give you another example, you mentioned that you went to a workshop to improve listening skills. There are many clubs that will probably utilize this skill to the maximum. There's one called A Place to Talk at Hopkins, which utilizes like active listening skills. It's a peer listening group. So considering you've just attended a workshop, but you've not done anything with the skills you've obtained, one thing you could do is when you send out this email, you can say, oh, I have these skills and I've learned so much about it, but I want to get a chance to like implement it. And I would love to get in touch with this club president or this club member to see like how I can add value to that club with these skills I've obtained. So that way you can start working in a college club, or at least you can connect with the students who are part of it. Maybe you can start something like that in your own high school. I know in India, a lot of these high schools don't have a lot of like mental health resources or mental health help, and starting like a peer listening group where, you know, maybe students can just come and kind of just rant and talk about their day, where you don't really give advice to them, but just lend a listening ear. So you can start something like that in your school. And in order to start it, you can reach out saying, I want to start this club. Can I connect with this person who can guide me and help me to start this club here? So that's something you can definitely do. You also mentioned that you've not visited any school yet. I think it's okay if you don't get a chance to visit the school in person, but almost all schools have a virtual campus tour.
Absolutely.
So I definitely recommend you take that. It barely takes 10 minutes to like go through that virtual tour. And you are lucky that all of this is happening post-COVID, because admissions offices have like adapted to the virtual world and they offer so much more than they used to virtually. So definitely take advantage of that. There are info sessions that are general. There are also info sessions that are specific to certain majors and academic interests. So it'll definitely help going to those. There are also like student panel Q&As that happen, and that's also a good way to learn more about the college and not just show your interest. So I definitely highly recommend that you take part in all of these activities, because you can do it just from the comfort of your home. And definitely reaching out to current students is also super helpful. And I'm speaking from personal experience. I work at the admissions office at Hopkins, and we see a lot of students who reach out, and it really does elevate your application, not only in terms of just demonstrating interest, but you know so much more personal. You know the school so much more personally than maybe someone who's not spoken to a current student. So when you are writing your essays and when you're like showing your application, you'll have much more of a personal touch. And if you mention in your application, you spoke to this current student who told you about this and thus sparked your interest, it shows that you really did take the initiative, and that's what schools want to see.
Perfect.
Many colleges have platforms that kind of make it easy to connect with people. You don't need to know your high school alumni who studies in that school. So I know University of Michigan and again Hopkins, we have these things called student portals, like Blue Jay connection portal. So if you just like go and like walk through their admissions website, you will find things like that in other colleges as well. And the way it works is like they'll have student profiles, and you just click on the profile, you can connect with them, send them questions, and those students will answer it for you. Maybe they'll even schedule a Zoom call. I know I do that with lots of prospective students who message me. So I think it's super, super helpful for you if you do that. And I think you can also reach out to a lot of doctors at the schools that you have mentioned, because a lot of the schools you've mentioned here, Emory, Rice, Case Western, Brown, Hopkins, they're very pre-med centric, or like have a big medicine presence in their college. And I think if you just reach out to doctors or professors who do some sort of research in neuroscience or the biology field, or even just doctors that you anticipate you want to work with or learn from. Maybe you read a research paper that you found really interesting. Just shoot them an email, tell them you read the
I think that's good enough, Nainika. Don't worry. That's a lot. You've given her a lot of information, but a lot of her information is very valid for all the other children as well. I will have to cut you short so that everyone gets a chance and priority. But yes, children, everything she said can be done for any school, any major. Okay, so that is a takeaway for all of you, I'm hoping, not just for Reba. So that's perfect. Let's move on to the next one. I'm sorry, we'll have to keep this a little crisp simply because of lack of time. Ninad, who do you
Uh,
want to?
Yes, ma'am. Ron, would you like to proceed ahead with Piyush Gandhi? Piyush, are you attending?
Hi, I'm present.
Awesome,
Yeah.
Piyush.
Yes, 1 second. One second, just pulling up his form.
Absolutely. No worries. Ninad, will you be able to tell Tanav what's the kid he's going to be doing so that way time's not wasted?
Sure, ma'am.
Tanav and
Tara, will
Sumeet,
you start
will
the
you?
analysis for Harika? Harika, are you present?
Yes, I'm there.
Awesome.
Perfect.
And who does Sumeet have to do?
Sumit, could you do Rajveer Vijay?
Perfect. Sumeet, are you
Uh,
with us?
I am. Yes.
Awesome. Sumeet, you can start looking at Rajvi. Rohan, you can go with Piyush.
Hi, so yeah, Piyush, I see you're interested in economics and finance, right?
Yes.
I kind of want to know more about you before. So I see that in your top 3 activities, you wrote about public speaking, general awareness, and academic excellence. So what do you mean by general awareness, and what have you done for public speaking?
So, when I talk about general awareness, I particularly want to show that I have been involved in general activities as well as the quiz club of our school since I was in grade fifth. So,
Mhm.
it's been 7 years since I've joined that, and I have also presided over the club over the last year. I was the president, and um, in the case of public speaking, I am the head boy of my school in this academic session, and our school offers a lot of opportunities when we look on the public speaking, when we look at the direction of public speaking. I
Mhm.
have been involved in comparing and speaking on the dais a lot of times, and it has built my confidence a lot. That is what I meant.
Okay. So so what I would think,
Rohan, can I ask what club is he a part of? Did you understand?
yeah, he said the quiz club, if I'm
Okay, got it.
yeah. That's right, the quiz club, Piyush.
Yes, yes, correct.
So the first thing I'd be doing, if I was in your shoes, was to go to the colleges that I've been looking at and find out what clubs or what activities they have similar to this, similar to quizzes or anything about public speaking in general. Because I know that there's a lot of colleges out there that actually focus mainly on communication in general. Communication is a very big major. So there's a lot of clubs also out there that help with this communication major and all that. And since you've already have experience in this field, then you would probably want to find out more about the clubs and the club's presidents or any members or whatever it may be, and reach out to them and give them send them an email, talk to them about yourself, what you've done before, and then just get them aware of who Piyush is. And that's when you start building up. So for example, there's a lot of these colleges on clubs on Instagram or on Facebook, and you could just ping them directly, just send them a message saying, hi, I'm not a student yet, but I really love the college and I'm looking forward to get in. I applied here and I'm looking forward to be a part of this club and I want to know more. Or tell them about a project you've been working on, or tell them about events you've hosted, or whatever it may be, something that you've done which you may feel is unique to you, or that you may feel is an achievement in your perspective. talk to them about it, and show them why it is. Like, don't just tell them, oh, I was a part of a club and um I was in it for 6 years or whatever. But I want you to go in detail, write a message or write down a script that showcases your interest towards public speaking or to general awareness or whatever you may be interested in, and then start sending those out. You could reach out to either clubs directly, you could reach out to the admissions office and they could guide you towards these clubs or alumni, professors, whoever it may be. Or you could really look out for professors on LinkedIn initially, whatever it may be. But that, I feel like that's like the best option to move forward in terms of showcasing interest towards the college and making them aware of who you are, so that you also develop like a contact base or someone in that college who could stand for you later on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Ma'am, you're on mute.
Piyush, what major do you want to do out of curiosity? I'm asking.
My majors in economics.
Okay, wonderful. Sounds good. Quiz is actually a great way of highlighting us. Yes, Rohan.
If I may just add on, so have you done anything towards the econ or finance sides? Anything yet?
Correct.
I have written 2 articles on economics. Indian. How do I? It's on India's position in the economic sector as it. I've written 2. I can.
So are these like on your own blog or where have you published them?
No, I was the editor of the school magazine the last year, and I'll be the editor of the school magazine this year also. So I have written those 2 articles in the last magazine, and in this edition, maybe I'll write for it again.
I advise that you do write for it again, keep it going. So continue with that. It should be shown that you have been doing it again and again, not that you've done it once before and then you left it and then you're doing it again right before college, because they will see that. They will 100% see your growth or like your interest over time towards the major. They will see this. So I would suggest, these articles, push them out, show them what you wrote about, show them how what your take is on the Indian economy or whatever it may be, and maybe send them to it could be even a student. Actually, even a student would help you really well
Right.
in terms of this process also. And you could ask them, give me your input so that I could work on mine later on, or you could ask them to help you, teach you something that you could work on for a future article, and things like that in general. Are you in an IB school, if I may ask?
I'm in a defense school.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right.
Piyush, that adds a lot of value to you. So definitely try and start thinking about demonstrated interest the way Rohan has said. And if there's any help you need, reach out to us. We'll try and work it out. But I really like the fact that you can reach out to students as well for your economic articles. That's a great idea. Tanav, you want to move on?
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt. Tanav, so sorry, but Sumit would like to finish his analysis first as he's in a difficulty currently.
Oh, okay, definitely. Sumeet, go ahead. I don't see him though. Sumeet, are you there? Sumeet, Ninad, you want to reach out to Sumit and ask? Till then, Tanav can do one.
Yes, ma'am. Sure. Let me just read it.
Okay. So yeah, so I just pulled out the form, and firstly, one thing you have said is that you have not visited any colleges before. So again, like even if it's not possible to like visit a college in person, like you could do the online campus tours and like virtual tours, or attend like virtual information sessions or something like that to gain more information about the college, and like to demonstrate your interest and to like figure out whether the college is like a good fit for you. And then
What are
reading,
the activities Harika is doing?
yeah, so coming to that, so firstly, you have said that you would like to highlight your interest for math and economics. So if I may ask, like, what activities are you doing currently related to math and economics that you think demonstrates your interest in those subjects?
Harika?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm currently part of an organization called Tech for All. We work with underprivileged kids who usually do not have the proper access to education. So I feel like I'm part of an organization that works to promote economic growth towards the end because education is an important part of economic growth. So I think in that way, I am connected with economics in a positive manner.
I see. So like one recommendation I would have is like if there is any way you can like explicitly incorporate your knowledge of economics into like the undertaking, like something like you can show that you're using your knowledge in economics to somehow like add to your initiative or something like that, then that can be very helpful. And like
That's a great idea. Aligning your interest to what you want to study, Harika, will add tremendous value. And you can actually reach out to college to ask, if I want to do this and this, and I'm struggling, how do I help?
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Yes.
yeah, and yeah, and in general, yeah, just trying to like I've seen that you have done a lot of community service. So like trying to and like applying like I'm not that knowledgeable like in economics, so like I'm not very sure. But like if there is any way in which you can like incorporate like and like your knowledge of economics or like some economic concepts into like your community service and like to be able to write about how you're using your like knowledge in these areas like economics and math to like try to improve your
Tanav,
yeah.
I remember how you used math and applications for temple visits during COVID, right?
Yeah.
So that was, something like that is also what Harika can do. Harika, a lot of math and computer tech can be used for these community services. Maybe you create an app for them. Maybe you create a website for them. Maybe you analyze some data for them so they understand what's happening with their funding. Any of this will add value. Remember, children, it's not about big bang projects. It's about small things that you do. It's about little aspects that you change. And going back to what Nainika said for Reba, but to all of you, find the clubs, like she said, the club for social concern. Every college has something like this. Why don't you reach out to them and ask, look, I want to help them. I'm great with tech. I'm okay with math. What can I do? And this is the place where they are. Can anyone help me? So things like that, Harika, may also add value.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you.
Perfect. Sumeet, since you seem to be in a kind of a situation where you have to leave, do you want to finish all your forms first? Is he there, Ninad? I know I see him, but he disappears every time I talk.
He's
Sumeet?
there, ma'am, but he hasn't unmuted.
There.
Uh,
Sumeet, you want to do Rajveer first?
sure. Let me try. If I cut off, then I can just do this on email. Let's see.
Yeah, it's okay if you're not on video, just talk.
Okay, so Rajvi, can you just before I start? Okay, or rather, so I see that you've done these two apps. You've done Somnia and you've done Connection. And that sounds really nice. Are you planning to take this out, or do you just want to leave it at a pitch, or as it is right now?
Rajveer, unmute yourself, please. Rajveer, unmute yourself, please, and answer. Okay.
Ma'am, his microphone is blocked. He has just messaged.
Oh, okay, Sumeet. So his microphone is blocked. So why don't you continue? I think he wants to continue. He's struggling with the projects. I know that. I don't think he'll be continuing with the insomnia.
Okay, so I mean, here's the thing, right? A lot of times, like, this sounds cool. You build an app, you build a website, you build a car or something. But colleges want to know why you did it and what you want to do with it, and like how that really relates to what you'll be doing once you're at that college. So I would say that sometimes you also have to be cautious about what you put and the way you put it. You can't just be like, oh, I pitched this and then nothing really happened. And the reason can't be that you didn't want to do it. Of course, if you reach a roadblock, then that's a very nice story too. So, you know, it's very important to talk to them and frame that really properly. And yeah, about your general demonstrating interest, it's a little difficult to see from your form, but I would say, okay, for UC Berkeley, get in touch with. So for all of these colleges, I am sure you'll be able to get in touch with the international admissions officer. For UC Berkeley, it's Cameroon Sadafi, if he's still with us.
Yes.
And so what they do is, I think on their Facebook accounts, they put down a lot of events that are happening. So if there's one near your cities, definitely visit, go meet them in person, and they are the first people who generally read your application. For CS in general, reach out to people, reach out to professors, and it is very important that you reach out to students because you get an idea of how CS really works at that university. Like different universities have different approaches to the CS curriculum, and leads to them picking different kinds of students for each. I would say, like, get into the specifics, talk to the people from your different colleges, and you'll be able to see the difference between. I'll reply to the other question later. Yeah, but you'll be able to see the difference between experiences, profile, if you reach out to different alumni from these places. Yeah, I think once I can talk to you properly, I can respond to the rest of your questions and get to know you better.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Sumeet,
was,
Rajveer is an Accept You student, so I can connect you to him. You guys can have a separate conversation.
Sorry about my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you have a terrible connection. Okay, let's move on, Sumeet. Let us know if you can do any more or not. In the meantime, Ninad, will you tell us our next lot? Tell Nainika hers, mine, Tanav and Rohan's.
Ma'am, you can start with Rashi Karnik.
Rashi
Nainika.
Karnik. Yeah, okay. Tell the other kids their names.
Nainika, can you do Shaili Shah? Rohan can do Krisha Arora.
Yeah, Ninad, continue. Tell
Tanav,
Tanav.
can you do Palak Adnani?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Perfect.
So I'm going to start with you, Rashi. Can you unmute yourself so I know you're with us? Say hi to me.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So Rashi, I see that you're a clear UK child. You're looking at UCL, LSE, Cambridge, Warwick, and Durham, which is super exciting because hopefully you've learned today that they really believe in demonstrating interest. And I will strongly tell you for UCL and LSE, even for my own son, he had done a whole course at London School of Economics, and the professor reached out because he was writing a policy paper and he asked the professor if he could work. That professor couldn't help, but made another professor reach out and they wrote a paper together. So of course he got into LSE with complete scholarship, in fact, which is really rare. Okay. Similarly with Warwick, as Sumeet has already pointed out to you, I'm not very familiar with Durham, but I know UCL is one of those top liberal arts colleges and they're very big on demonstrated interest as well. Now, the majors that you're looking at, and this is where my slight worry comes from. If you're looking at UK, if you're doing law and legal studies, then you can't do business and business management. Are you aware of this, Rashi?
Yes, yes. No, I'm majorly looking at law and legal studies. Business
Beautiful.
is something I was interested in before, but I'm mainly focusing on law for sure.
Awesome. Now, when you talk about demonstrating your interest for law and legal studies, it's very important. You're already in touch with the college alumni, which is great. You have public speaking, debate, and theater available. Now, remember, public speaking, debate, theater, all are very crucial values that add to legal studies. It's just about how do you demonstrate it. For
Right.
example, if public speaking, if you've actually done it as an activist, as a community giver, and then you have that recorded, then I would very strongly say, I come from a school where there are not too many, and I say that because I know it, where there are not too many clubs. I have started a public speaking club here, which is specifically related to activism and giving back to the legal world. One of my children just got into Georgetown, and she wrote about how her father, who's a businessman, had deeds and documents and legal agreements lying on his desk. And she was all of 11 when she started reading these. And slowly and steadily, she understood whatever she wants to study in life, she has to understand law. And that's why she did a Georgetown program. Georgetown is #1 for law in US, so I'm saying that. And she did an online course with them, and then she actually applied, and she started a club based on the summer course that she did with them. What they taught her, she taught back. So that would be a brilliant way if you could do some sort of demonstrated interest. I do hope you have some amount of work shadow or some internships, because that's going to be super critical for you moving forward in UK especially. You will need to show some amount of work experience. Doing online courses is important. Reading books on legal studies and law. Follow professors who you want to study with. Read their research papers and books. That will add a lot of value to you as well, Rashi. Does that make sense?
Yes, for sure. I just had one question about the internships. So shadowing is one thing that I'll definitely look at. But when I'm applying for an internship during the summer or something like that, what area should I be mainly looking at? Because I know that there is not a lot of scope for law internships specifically. I live in Mumbai.
I agree, Rashi. There is very, very little opportunity, but there are a lot of legal firms that allow you to sit in. You can actually literally just sit in. And that's another reason I'd say strongly make your LinkedIn. If you make your LinkedIn and you see startups, there's so many startups which are giving legal advice to communities, to nonprofits. Reach out to them. Say, can I do your paperwork? Can I do your legal work? Can I do your filing? Even something like that will add a lot of value to you.
Sure, got it. Also, social awareness is something that's very important to me. And
Rashi, will have to cut you because we need to move on, but reach out to me separately.
Sure,
I'll
no,
answer your questions.
will do.
Yeah. Okay. Move on, please. I'm sorry, kids, we'll have to keep it fast, so at least everyone gets some chance. Okay. Ninat, who's going next? Tanav, why don't you go
Nainika.
next? Okay, Nainika, go next, love.
Oh,
Okay, Miss Shelley on the call.
Shelly, are you there?
Shelly, are you there?
Okay. If she's not there, Tanav, will you start with your student, please?
sure. There's Balak on the call.
Palak, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Awesome. Thanks, Palak.
Yeah. So in your activities, you mentioned that you did an internship in a company called Niche. So could you tell me more about your work in that internship? Like, what did you do and what kinds of solutions does the company like create?
Yeah, so Niche provides electromation solutions to other companies. So I was a part of manufacturing and design team, and I interned over there.
I see. So, what like could you give an example of like what kinds of like for example a specific solution that you might have worked on during your time at the internship?
Correct.
PCC and MCC panels.
Right.
MCC and
Explain this to us, Palak.
yeah, so electromation, this MCC panels are they provide electrical solutions to can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We can't hear her anymore though. Okay.
Hello.
Rohan. Okay. Palak, we cannot hear you anymore. Rohan, you want to move on with your student?
Yes, ma'am, sure. Krisha, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so your interests in terms of major are finance and data analytics, right?
Yes.
Okay, so and first off, I love your your what you've done till now and your interests. This is honestly more than I've done too, so I'm honestly jealous too. Congrats on that. And one thing I wanted to ask was out of everything that you've written so far, what do you think is something that you are very strong with?
I think that would be the research paper that I've written.
Mhm. So is this research paper published?
It is in the publication process right now. It is being peer reviewed. So hopefully before the applications start, it will be published.
Okay. So is this some type of research that you've been working on for a while, or are you going to be working on it more? Or could you tell me about this a little bit? Like when you started, is it done? Are you continuing about that?
So the research is done. I started working on this paper like 6 to 7 months back, and I worked with a mentor. So he guided me through the entire process of researching more about the topic, helping me talk to people who I could get information from, and then in the end, I gathered all the information and just wrote the paper.
Okay, that's great actually. So I would initially, as I told Piyush, I would do the same thing with this, like reach out to professors, let them know I've done this research paper and tell them why it's different initially. So I want you to see other research papers. Obviously, you have probably seen a few related to this, but I want you to tell them what it is that you found um, separately, or what it is that it's unique to you,
Okay.
or your understandings, your findings. I want you to like note that all down and then submit it to a professor or whoever it may be, any point of contact, and show them that this is why I'm interested in this major. So you've done you're doing finance, right?
Yes.
So yeah, definitely. So this will show them that this kid has actually been working on it for a while. This kid has a lot of interest in terms of finance, investments, and it'll just show them that you are different from other people, and that is very important in terms of this whole application process.
Got
And
it.
then moving on to your organization, could you tell me a little bit about that too?
Yeah, so I started this organization in my city called Girl Up. It was basically so I started this club like 3 years ago, and to basically empower women, like and educate people in my society about the gender inequality and how we can overcome that. And I've done like a lot of projects in it. Like I have 9 to 10 projects, and we've also been like my club has also been featured by Girl Up India.
Krisha, if I may jump in, Rohan, which city are you?
Amritsar.
Okay,
But I
that's
studied
phenomenal. Sorry, did someone? So, Krisha, I've worked with Girl Up, many students, founders in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, everywhere, okay, including Mysore. It's a phenomenal club that you brought to your city. And your ability to point out your stories for Girl Up will make all the difference. Just being the founder is not enough. How do you feel it's a patriarchy society, let's say in Amritsar, or the whole, the area where you belong, or the school where you have, the problems that you face, bringing in the whole need to understand women equality? okay, will be very, very important for you. And I'd love to be able to help you. Obviously, like Rohan said, the paper is one thing that you must reach out to your professors and try and do that. But for Girl Up, remember, it's also what you talk about in your essays that will make all the difference, or in your cover letter. So please approach us because we know exactly how to help you for Girl Up.
Okay,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Rohan, please continue.
Yep. So I just wanted to ask a few questions on that. So you told me you've done about 9 to 10 projects, right?
Yes.
So I kind of one question that comes in my mind is, so you started in 2021, so it's been about 3 years. So in the first year, how many have you done? Second year, how many have you done? Third year, how many have you done?
First year, 5 projects, and second year, 5.
Okay, and the third is ongoing. So
Yes.
how many have you done so far?
So I'll be doing one project like maybe in July, but that project is still being worked on. So
Mhm.
hopefully during the summer break.
All right, okay. So maybe talking about 1 second. Yeah. So maybe talking about this would also help you a lot because it's showing how, as Priyanka ma'am just said, your story is what is very important. Your story is what college really does care about, fundamentally. They want to know, they just want to know who you are. They don't want to know about that one girl who wrote, who may have done one research paper, just started one club. They want to know what that research paper does, how she made an impact, and she want to know how her club made an impact on what she's doing. So pushing that forward, because many colleges don't really give you the opportunity to explain as much as you want. So the demonstrated interest, like contacting college before this whole process, is what gives you, um, that extra benefit, saying, I got to tell them this part also. You don't get to tell them everything about yourself on the college application. There'll always be something that you want to give, but there's always something that there will always be something that you want to talk about which you can't, and this is the platform for you. Demonstrated interest, this is the platform for you to connect with professors or any affiliate with the college, and also show them that this is also what you've been working on for a while.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We are going to be running short of time. We're not going to be able to do too many more. One thing, students, please don't ask the mentors for their contact details. They are busy. They are caught up. If you have reached out to accept you, we will connect you with the right mentor, but we cannot have you speaking to them or reaching out to them. They do this as a favor for us, but that doesn't mean you can reach out to them directly. Second, if you are an Accept You student and would like to meet any of them, of course, just let me know. Again, we will arrange it. Ninad, is there any form that you want us to do specifically? Else, I'd rather we do questions now. So everyone gets an opportunity to ask questions.
No worries, ma'am. We can start with the questions.
Perfect. So kids, unmute yourself, ask away. Sumeet is not going to be able to join us. He was on the last train back to his college and there's absolutely no connection. But if anyone has questions for Tanav, Rohan, Nainika, or me, feel free to ask.
Yes, Mahek.
Yeah, hi. Thank you. This session was really great. I just have one question that you were talking about the cover letter. Could you just elaborate a little more on that to let us know, what exactly is this cover letter and how does it work? Thank you.
Absolutely, Mahek. Would you like me to answer that question? Nainika, Tanav, Rohan? Should I go ahead? Okay, a cover letter essentially is a letter that you can email to an admissions officer or to a professor or to someone at a college. You only write the cover letter if you have something to talk about, if you have something you want to know about. Okay, like the specific questions, if you remember, Mehek, we spoke about.
Yeah.
Right? So those are questions which are asked in a cover letter, for example, where you tell us a little about your project, tell us a little about what you're doing, and then have a cover letter. Again, Nainika went more generic. She didn't want to go aligned to her major, but she wanted them to know about her dance. So hers was a cover letter where she said, hi, this is something I have done, and it's not most highlighted in my application, so I'd like you to know. So she shared that. That's also a cover letter. Rohan was working with the dean of a particular college. That was also a cover letter where he reached out to them and started working with them. Okay, so a cover letter need not be, if I may say, a square in a box frame, but it's anything that you send as a written. Remember, don't write to them saying, I exist. I am there. Hello, get to know me. Okay, there has to be a purpose. Either you want to know more about the college or you want the college to know more about you. Did I answer your question?
So if I have correctly understood, this goes as an additional, what you can say, additional way of expressing about yourself other than the application that you submit.
I think so, yes. And it should be done pre-application or post-application. Could be done. Nainika, did you want to add something, dear? Anyone? Okay. Kashvi, you have a question.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for a lovely session, first of all. I'm a UK and a Singapore applicant. So usually it's been said that both these countries are very academically focused. I just want to know more that if I've done like a research paper, if I participate in various clubs, I have internships, I'm a badminton player, so verified national badminton player from the Badminton Association of India. So I've done these various co-curriculars and extracurriculars as well. Would they give me a little bit advantage from the other applicants, or still it's just focused on academics as an overall?
Kashvi, you should apply to US. You sound so US. But having said that, maybe Tanav, would you like to share your experience of, you got into Oxford, right, Tanav, or was it Cambridge?
Cambridge.
Would you like to share your experience of how it was different, your essay? Because Sumeet is not here, Kashvi, so I'm going to have Tanav talk about the different, just the essay itself or just the application itself is so different. Tanav, you want to talk a little about it?
Yeah, so like, firstly, so the Cambridge application is like slightly different from the other UK application. So could I know like what's your like top choice in the UK so I can like answer accordingly?
Yeah, so my first choice in the UK would be Warwick. I was definitely looking at LSE, but as I went through the courses, none of the courses really did interest me. So I would be looking at Warwick and UCL and King's College London as my top three.
What are you planning to study, Kashvi?
Business management. But in KCL, I love the program of data science with management. So I think for now, that is my first option.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So it is like, if I had to break down the application, like a lot of it is focused on academics, as like most of it is like they ask you for your grades like from like 9th grade onwards, if I remember correctly. And that's basically a major chunk of the application. But in addition to that, you have to write one essay, which is called the personal statement. And you could write about all of this in the personal statement. Ideally, like, like, as far as I'm aware, like in a personal statement, like you would write about like what got you interested in a subject, or you would like explain like why you are interested in a subject, what are your future plans regarding the subject, and like what like extracurricular activities you have pursued, like which are related to, in your case, like business management. So
very true.
Yeah, so that's what the personal statement would like focus on. So yeah, so if you're like, as you said, like mentioned about your research paper, that's definitely something you should mention in the personal statement, and that will certainly give you an advantage. But like one feature of like the UK admissions is that like if something is not directly related to, say, business management, they might not actually
consider it
weightage to it.
Yes. So for example, your badminton, Kashvi, how do you connect it? Like, has it taught you patience? Has it taught you to be statistically observant, and thus you want to do data? You know what I'm trying to say? Just be creative about it.
Yes, all right, I got it.
Yeah.
So basically,
But
all my
definitely reach out to us.
they should be academically oriented.
Has to be.
Yeah.
You have to bring it back to it. And please reach out to us. We will send you the counselor we have who's an expert for UK. She is working very clearly with LSE, the Oxbridge, and you'd probably want to work with her to understand how do you make yourself more creative in your SOP. Rajveer, I'll go with your question. Meg, give
All
me a
right, yes,
moment.
definitely.
We'll first do
Thank
Rajveer's
you so much.
question. Thank you, Kashvi. Yes,
Yeah,
Raj.
hi. Thank you, mentors, for that very insightful session, firstly. And this question is for Rohan. So I heard you were doing business as a major and CS as a minor, right?
Yes.
What did you focus on in your profile? Because these are two very different fields. What did you focus on while building your profile?
So,
What activities did you do?
okay, so my profile was completely business oriented, to tell you. So,
Okay.
I actually chose computer science once I got into college because I'd say it's more of like a cheat code because it's once I got in for business, I applied for a double major or currently it's a minor, but it's going to become a double major soon. I applied for it, computer science to be it, and then
Oh, wow.
for students, I guess there's that flexibility for some colleges. So I got my CS minor there, and I've got my CS minor to complement, my ideas or whatever my future goal is in terms of the business field.
Mhm.
And but my application was completely focused towards business. So if you have any questions for that, I could answer them.
Rohan, I
Yeah,
do
I'm
want to
also.
point out, Rajveer, I do want to
Mhm.
point out to you that Rohan had initiated a startup.
Mhm.
And that
Okay.
startup had a bit of tech play in it. I will like to be honest there. It did have a tech play. And in fact, when he was applying, his counselor turned around and told me that I'm almost sad he's not looking at computer science. But,
Mm.
Fortunately, he was very clear in his application. He chose to go gung-ho with just business. And that worked out very clear. He also got into the double program at Purdue, which is like the rarest programs to get in.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So a follow-up question would be, what activities did you do for business? So one is a startup, and
Mm.
what
So
else? Did you do a research
I've
paper or
done.
something like that? Yeah.
I'm not completely sure about everything I've done, but I could give you like a gist of it. So I've done my startup. So that was my main point, which I've pushed in. And then I was a part of clubs in my school. I've written research papers for business management and economics separately. And then I've also been a part of quite a few competitions. I've done like national level hosted competitions or internationally hosted competitions, and I've succeeded in both of them. So I have mentioned that, and then both of those ideas were again related to my startup. So those were what I pushed forward. So I would say most of my activities that I've done, and apart from this, I was also very interested in fashion, and in terms of fashion, I was also mainly interested in footwear design. So this was also something that I did try working on in high school, and I did show them that this was a completely out of school thing, so nothing related to school. I've done internships with fashion designers, and I've applied for courses over here and stuff like that. But because of COVID, I couldn't attend it. But stuff like that, and I've also done summer school in Wharton in my 10th grade summer, which also does carry forward some strength in your application.
Definitely brings leverage, yeah. All right, let's have the
Apart from
next
this,
question. Rashi,
Yeah.
can I have your question
Thank
first?
you.
Thanks, Raji. Sorry, Mehak, I'm only not choosing you right now because I'm allowing other children to first ask. Yes, Rashi.
Hi, first of all, thank you so much for the session. It's been incredibly helpful. And
Appreciate
my
that.
question is for Tanav. So I understand that with Oxbridge applications, there's an interview process. So how exactly did the Cambridge interview process go, and what are some of the questions that they ask about yourself?
Okay. So firstly, the Cambridge interview process is completely different from, say, a US interview in that they ask you like I gave a math interview. So they basically asked me like math questions in the interview. So like I mean, literally, like it started like this. Like I entered the interview, like they said like good evening or something like that, and then they just like posed a math problem. And how it works is that like the idea is that like again, like I could like talk a lot about like tips and how you should approach it or like things like that, but the main idea is they want to see how you approach the problem and like how you solve and like how you like end up at your solution. So like they pose a problem and then you just like walk through your thought process, like what you're thinking of your ideas, and then like you basically have to solve the problem in front of them, kind of like orally, and you have to walk through your steps and clearly explain what you're doing well uh yeah, like solving the problem. And I believe that's how it works like for all STEM fields, such as like for like math, and I believe this is also how it works for like say CS and engineering and other STEM fields. Like I'm not quite sure how it works for like humanities or something, but yeah, that's how it generally is. So they
Rashi,
don't ask you anything.
if you need any help with interview prep, please reach out to me. I will try and give you some tips for that.
Right, for sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I can take Mehak's question if no one else is asking a question. Sorry, I have a question for Nainika here. Nainika, why would you want to study pre-med? Is it recognized in India?
Oh, can you explain that question again? What do you mean by is it recognized in India?
I think they want to know if your degree of US is recognized in India of medicine.
Like after you get an MD degree, after you go to med school?
I think pre-med. I mean, that's what is written here. But I think basically, yes, med school degree.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not about being considered or not. If once you finish your MD, so to give you context, in India, the degree is called MBBS, and in America, it's called MD. So you can definitely, once you get your MD degree, I would highly recommend just continuing your residency and your fellowship and everything in America. But ultimately, once you finish all your training, if you do want to come back to practice, I think all you have to do is give the Indian medical exams, and then you're able to practice. So it is recognized. You just have to give the Indian medical exam to be able to practice completely in India.
And it's not such a tough exam, kids. I mean, people just really fear away from doing a pre-med in US, especially because of that. And a lot of children end up wanting to do a bio or a med in UK. Please don't shy away for that reason. There's so much more research opportunities that open up in US as compared to UK.
I think it has its pros and cons, but a lot of it in America is just in terms of more exposure, in terms of opportunities, rather than just focus on an academic setting. So that's if you're someone who's interested in a lot of extracurriculars, research, shadowing, and a lot of the other aspects beyond education, then America is like really good for that.
Makes sense. Thank you, Nainika. Mehak, you have a question yet, my love?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm looking at US as the place where I want to study. So I understand that there is a common application that you have to fill in, and you put in all your details there, and you also submit a resume. But it is like, I mean, other than the essays and what you put in the common application, how do you ensure that what you've done is validated? I mean, how do they get to know that what you're writing is how do you validate that?
I'd like to say it's their experience. If you lie, they sense it. But also, if there's an ethicality issue they're facing, they reach out to your school and they ask. So we had a child who went to Yale last year, and the Yale did not believe that he had worked on whatever chemical composition or water that he wrote about. And they reached out to his school, which is a Bombay-based school, it's Aditya Birla, and asked. And they said, please demonstrate and show us, authenticate what has been done. So the school had to send someone to find out the details, get the research paper, read through it, and then write back saying, yes, it's true. But be very wary, because if you lie, and one college or anyone finds out, you're red flagged. You cannot apply to US anymore. So I always like to say, and at least at Accept You, we really believe in ethicality. Write your essays yourself, show your true self. And one of the jokes I say to almost all my children is, imagine you're marrying someone for 4 years. You can't divorce. There is no way out. The more truthful you are, the better it is for you. You will get the right fit. The college knows how to find the right fit. In Nainika's case, for example, whatever school she is from, told her, no, John Hopkins, you will not get in. And we at Accept You just put our foot forward and said she will. She is a great fit. She did. Yeah, and Tanav. Everyone, I mean, we were so nervous when Tanav was applying. He was so shy, so awkward. And look at the battery of lists he got into. Similarly with Rohan, he applied, he wanted to go to an X school. He thought that's his dream. But it turned out that wasn't his dream, right? And that's why you should believe in this process a little more, kids. It's really important.
Yeah, just one thing to what you just said.
Add, my love.
I think in India, a lot of people go for rankings, like in terms of I just want to be in the top 5 colleges or the top 10 colleges of the world. And in order to get there, you tend to fake your application, you tend to fake letters of recommendation. And I don't think it's super nice to do that, only because you're taking probably someone else's spot who's probably more deserving to be there. And more than that, you will be miserable at that school, because even if you do get in based on all the false conjectures, you will not be happy there because you probably didn't belong there and you belong somewhere where you thrive. So it kind of affects you negatively more than anything else.
Thank you, Nainika. I'm glad you added that. I have a question here from Neha, who says, my internet connection is shaky. Could you ask in general about how you determine a passion project that works well for your interests? I think they meant to Rohan. It says to Rohit. Rohan, do you want to take it?
Could you just repeat that question again? I got lost.
100%. How do you determine a passion project that works well for your interests in mind?
Okay, so to answer that question, at least from my side, I would say it's not about how you determine your passion project towards your interest. It's your interest comes from your passion project. That's how it works. So once you realize, oh shit, this is what I want to do, this is something that you find something and you're like, I want to solve it, or you find, that's what I did. I found a problem and I was like, I want to solve it. I want to solve it. I asked around people. This was before I even chose my major. This was before I even knew about the college application, to be honest. So that's when I started realizing, oh, I really want to go towards business side. Before that, lots of people would just be under like the impression saying computer science is that they have these majors pre-made in their head saying, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. But is that really what you want to do? You will get one, there will be an interest that sparks in your mind. And honestly, 11th and 12th grade, especially, this is when you're more thinking outside of the box and researching what's happening around the world. And that's kind of when you start realizing, oh, maybe I could do something else. I could do more. And that's when you start thinking of something. And then once you've identified something that you want to work on, that's when your major would, or when your interest would come in place. At least that's what happened for me, because I wasn't initially leaning towards business. That was not my initial plan. That came forward after I started working on this idea, and then that moved forward towards me actually prototyping, and that moved forward towards my interest of I want to run this. So yeah, I guess I guess it does vary person to person, but to me at least, from my experiences, that is how it worked. And then once I've identified that that is my interest, you just delve deep into the whole concepts and into all the concepts you're interested in, and you will find it.
Thank you so much, Rohan. We really are at the end of our curve. We have Rohan trying desperately to sleep. I would like, Anya, did you have a question? Did I see your hand raised there?
One thing I kind of wanted added, which I haven't talked about before, that I really wanted to tell you guys about. So when you guys are researching schools, there are some schools. So one thing I could remember at the top of my head is Babson. They give you optional interviews. So this is an opportunity you really do want to take. So optional interviews, these aren't after they've seen your application or whatever. You can do it whenever. They have certain time frames. You go, you sign up, and then it's like a normal college interview. They ask you who you are, they ask you what you like. So this is also another platform where you get to demonstrate your interest towards the college. This
Very
isn't
true.
more about, I would personally say that this is more about why X college rather than why you should be with us. But it's why do you like this so much that you are applying here? And I would really utilize that, because in case you do have any questions or you want to reach out to someone, you could reach out to them. At least that's what I did. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Last question from Manasa.
Hi, I'm Manasa. Thank you for the session. It was really wonderful.
Thank
My
you.
question is that can you please explain me how universities in India are expecting their applications to be, and what are they expecting from their students?
Okay, Manasa, what major are you looking and what's your top college?
Ma'am, actually, I was looking give NDA and join the defense, but because I have 6 fingers, I was not applicable for that. So now I'm looking for computer technology, biotechnology, and something like that.
So undergrad or grad?
I'm an undergrad.
Okay. Got it. So in Indian colleges, it's a little different. It's like, I think Kashvi brought it up. It's UK specific. It's academic oriented, Mansa. There are very few colleges which require you to demonstrate your interest beyond your academic grades. But if you look at colleges like Jindal or Ashoka or Christchurch or Flames, then you see all the difference coming up. They are also asking for some sort of demonstration of interest. Why are you interested in computers? And if you say that, oh, I want to do biotechnology because I can't do something else, that's a guaranteed way to not get in. So you have to figure out, why are you passionate about this? How can you impact your community towards it? I hope I have answered your question, because it's very different for India. But yes, with that, thank you so much, children, for hanging on, doing this. I hope it was of help. But thank you far more and above and beyond for Nainika, Rohan, Tanav, Sumeet, who's not there, and Ninad for organizing this. I know it's crazy for you all to take our time. Really appreciate it. And know you all don't have to respond to any of these kids on an individual time. We will do it via Accept You. But thank you once again. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care and all the best for your applications.